Hello, my friends. Welcome to Gaia's Temple. I'm so glad you're here with me and this community, albeit virtual, here in Gaia's Temple. You know, the times in which we live, are how shall we say, interesting. These are interesting times. And interesting times require faith, and they require resilience, and they require a positive outlook in order to pilot through well. And so, if you resonate with that statement, then you have come to the right place. I am Reverend Judith Laxer, and I'm honored that you've chosen to spend an hour or so of your time here with me and this beautiful virtual community in Gaia's Temple. So before we go any further, I will ask you, if you are watching on YouTube, or even if you're on the Zoom call right now, maybe later, you can go and subscribe to the Gaia's Temple YouTube channel. We're trying to get as many people to subscribe as possible. And perhaps you've already done that, but perhaps you can tell some of your friends. And we're trying to get our numbers up so that we raise in the algorithms and we get our message out to as many people as possible. So your help with that would be greatly appreciated. We always begin with music, and every year we sing the alternative version of Silent Night. And so Pamela Kirky is going to lead us in singing that song. And I'll ask you all to make sure that you mute yourself first, because you know that lag time in Zoom. And if we all hear each other, it's going to be really difficult. But she will sing it. The lyrics will come up in a moment and we can all sing along. And so take it away, Pamela.
Silent night, solstice night, all is calm, all is bright. Nature slumbers in forest and glen, till in springtime she awakens again. Sleeping spirits grow strong, sleeping spirits grow strong. Silent night, solstice night, silver moon shining bright, snowfall blankets the slumbering earth. Yule fires welcome the sun's rebirth. Hark, the light is reborn. Hark, the light is reborn. Silent night, solstice night, quiet rest till the light, turning ever the rolling wheel, brings the winter to comfort and heal. Rest your spirit in peace. Rest your spirit in peace.
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful song. Hey, you all sounded great. And those harmonies were unbelievable. Good for us. We're doing a good job. So we'll continue to create our sacred space as we usually do at this time. So wherever it is that you are, get yourself nice and comfortable. Take a moment to close your eyes, go within, take a nice deep cleansing breath. we'll just take a moment now to call all the pieces and parts of us to come home. So any part of you that is projected into your future or stuck somewhere in your past or distracted by any of the myriad things that are so distracting in our world, let's just take a moment now and ask all the pieces and parts of us to come home so that we can be fully present and be here now. And breathe into that presence, a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, begin to ground yourself to the earth by imagining a line of energy extending from the base of your spine like a strong taproot growing downward toward the earth, down through the chair or the seat that you are seated in, down through the floor of whatever building you are inside of, down into Mother Earth. And she opens to receive your taproot as you send it down deep and more deeply and even more deeply, dropping down into the earth. And when your grounding cord gets as deep as it needs to go so that you feel so connected to her, so held by her, then send out smaller little branches reaching out and taking hold from the very bottom of that strong taproot. Imagine now that all of your roots, the little ones on the main taproot, become very porous and start to drink the energy of Mother Earth up into them and through them and keep drawing them up, knowing that what we're drawing up from the earth is her nurturance and her sustenance and her beauty and her diversity, and most importantly, her unconditional love. That's what flows inside and up as we keep drawing it up, up, up. And when it gets there, transfer over into your spine and keep drawing it up your spinal column all the way up until the Mother Earth energy gets to your heart. And when she arrives there, let her rest and take another deep breath to give her more room. Letting the energy of Mother Earth rest there in your heart, look to the heavens and find the moon. It is the dark of the moon now, just before she flips to new tomorrow morning. That dark crone moon is in Sagittarius, warm and honest and fiery, and draw that warm, silvery light down from the heavens onto you and into you. Drink her into your crown and draw her all the way down through your head and your neck until she finds her way into your heart. And when she arrives there once more, breathe deeply to make more room. Good. And once more, look to the heavens and find the sun, also in Sag. So much fiery warmth today. And draw that beautiful golden light down from the heavens, pouring into you, strong and protective and beautiful, glorious light, pouring in through your head and your neck. He is making his way into your heart now. And when he arrives, once more, breathe deeply. Good. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask us to take a deep collective breath together. And then when we exhale, we'll use our exhalation to push these three cosmic energies of Earth, Moon, and Sun straight forward outside of our bodies. We'll imagine them swirling all around us, creating our safe and sacred space, and connecting each and every one of us who have gathered here together, and even into the future, those who might watch it on YouTube later, know that we are all connected through the ethers. So here we go. Deep breath. And out it goes. Keep sending that energy out over your next couple of breaths, knowing that it is surrounding you. And it's almost as if we have dropped a pebble into a still pond and the ripples just go out through the ethers, connecting all of us. And in this way, we say we have stepped between the worlds. What is between the worlds is not affected by the worlds. but can heal and transform. So we say, our circle is cast in perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be. Oh, that just feels so good. It feels so good to me every time. Hope it feels as good to you as it feels to me. So now we're going to switch over to Tema, and she is going to lead us in singing in the directions and the elements. And so once more, we'll make sure we're all muted as we listen to her in leadership.
To the spirits of the north, powers of earth. Spirits of the earth, carry me. Spirits of the earth, carry me home. Spirits of the earth, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits of the east, powers of air. Spirits of the air, carry me. Spirits of the air, carry me home. Spirits of the air, carry me home to my heart. The spirits of the south, powers of fire. Spirits of the fire, carry me. Spirits of the fire, carry me home. Spirits of the fire, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits of the west, powers of water. Spirits of the water, carry me. Spirits of the water, carry me home. Spirits of the water, carry me home to my heart. To the spirits of the center, the power that connects us all. Spirits of the center, carry me. Spirits of the center, carry me home. Spirits of the center, carry me home to my heart.
Thank you, Tema. That was beautiful. And now over to Maggie, who will read our invocation for us today.
Great Mother, giver of all life, be with us. As the solar year draws to a close, be with us. As the dark nights continue to lengthen until the solstice, be with us. Today, we seek to remember the light that we are. Be with us. The bright flame that resides deep within us. Be with us. The passion for life that burns brightly in our souls. Be with us. Great Mother, today we renew our promise to tend that flame. Be with us. To protect our light that we may shine our gifts into the world. Be with us. We gather on this fine day to be in your presence. Be with us. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you so much, Maggie. Maggie L. Wilson is going to be joining the board of directors in 2021. So we are looking forward to her beautiful leadership there. Thanks for joining us. All right, so I'm going to start the podcast. See how I remembered? Very good, Judith. I think that is happening. I'm hoping it's happening. We'll see. Okay, hi, here we go. So, I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit. probably going to talk a little bit more about the astrology of the times in which we are living, because there are some extraordinary things that are going on. And you might ask yourself, you might say, why is she always talking about astrology in a goddess worship service? And the reason for that is because, just as we are not separate from nature, we are not separate from the entire universe either. We are the same star stuff. And so understanding what's happening cosmically, as well as what's happening here on Earth, and how all of that is interconnected, is a great context for how we want to live our lives, particularly if we want to live them intentionally, so that we can be working with all of the cycles in a conscious way, not just what happens day to day, month to month, year to year, but also the bigger epochs and eras of what is taking place. So anyway, we have some extraordinary astrology coming right up. And so what's happening right now, in case you haven't heard, is that Saturn and Jupiter, which are the two largest planets in our solar system, are currently conjunct. And a conjunction is when two planets appear in the sky within a few degrees of each other. So they look like they are traveling companions as they orbit. And the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction actually takes place approximately every 20 years. And the reason for that is that Saturn takes about 30 years to orbit the sun, and Jupiter takes about 12 years. It moves faster, even though it's larger, to orbit the sun. And so approximately every 20 years, they find each other, and they seem to be traveling together for a short period of time. And they have been traveling together for a while now, but they are getting closer and closer and closer. And they are going to move the closest that they have been to one another that we can see from the Earth since the year 1226. That is just under 800 years ago. They were conjunct this closely, I think sometime in the 1600s. I don't remember exactly what the date was. But at the time when they were conjunct, they were very close to the sun. And so of course we can't look into the sun, and we couldn't see them from the Earth. So this is the first time we'll be able to see this conjunction from the Earth. And so both of those planets are very, very bright in the sky. And when they come closer together, they are going to appear as if they are one big bright star. And some say that this is likely the exact kind of thing that happened to form the star that the three wise men followed, when. So it's really extraordinary. I mean, it's an extraordinary celestial cosmic event. And then it's even more extraordinary because it's happening right on the winter solstice, which is a sacred day and a threshold day as well. So astrologer Chani Nicholas, if you don't follow her, you ought to, she's awesome, tells us that, and I quote, "For the first time in a couple of hundred years, this conjunction will take place in a new element. Therefore, it denotes a paradigm shift." So I want to stop for a moment and explain a little bit about that. The last several hundred years, these conjunctions have all taken place in earth signs, including this last one, which was in Capricorn. And now it's moving into the element of air. So Chani says air is the element of the intellect, the social sphere, and communications. This is being called the Great Conjunction, and it's occurring on the solstice, a moment historically equated with new beginnings. And so this event is a far more powerful initiation, she says, than the turning of the clock on January 1st to 2021. This particular event on the solstice is really the threshold to a new paradigm. So as I said, from the last 200 years, this conjunction has all taken place in earth signs, and now it's moving into air signs, particularly into Aquarius. So some astrologers, we've been hearing since the 60s that this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and we are moving from the age of Pisces into Aquarius now. And but astrologers are saying now, from an astrological viewpoint, things seem like a blink of an eye. For us, it's decades or even hundreds of years, but it's like the whole era. And so some astrologers are saying that with this conjunction, moving these huge, large outer planets into the realm of Aquarius is truly the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And so I'm just reminded of that magnificent song that I'm sure a lot of us remember. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions, golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelation, and the mind's true liberation. Aquarius, can I get a blessed be? So it's just an extraordinary event that's happening. And you can see this star, these two planets coming together to form this star in the southwest of the sky just after sunset. And you know, the sun is setting really early these days. So probably between like 5:30 and 7 is the best time to look to the southwest in the sky. Hopefully we will have clear skies on the solstice and we'll be able to see this exact conjunction. So it's happening right on the solstice. So I want to talk a little bit about the winter solstice too, just to give us context for where we are in time on the wheel of the year. Carolyn McVicker Edwards tells us in her book, beautiful author, the book is called The Return of the Light, 12 Tales from Around the World for the Winter Solstice. And she tells us that the word solstice is from the Latin sol stetit, which means sun stood still. For 6 days in the Northern Hemisphere in December, the sun ceases its southerly crawl on the horizon and appears to rise and set in almost the same spot. So that's why it seems like it just stood still. The ancients watched this drama, this quiet drama, with drawn breath. Would the sun begin to move again? Would the light grow anew on the great wheel of life? Would life itself continue? So this is in part why winter is such a reflective time. The depth and the stillness of winter that the natural season brings, it causes us to pause, kind of like the sun appears to do, and to think and reflect on where we are in time and what's happened this whole last solar year. The solstice is the great stillness of winter, and we have trouble with stillness, many of us. We are busy, 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 and everything in our culture says busy, busy, busy. Be busy, produce, don't sit still. Goodness knows, the last thing you want to do is sit still and really reflect, because who knows what you're going to come up with, and that can be difficult. But the truth is that nature is not busy right now. She is resting, and so should we. So in an ongoing attempt to emulate nature as part of a spiritual practice, like all good pagans do, one thing we might do at this time of year is to think of ourselves as seeds, safe in our seed casings, still gestating, full of potential, but with no obligation to perform at this time.
This is a song. Hello, I'm Oriel. This is a song written by Becky Reardon called Winter Solstice Round. Deep down in the belly of the night, dream sweet winter dreams, and lie safe in your grandmother's arms, still as a seed, still as a seed. Deep down in the belly of the night, dream sweet winter dreams, and lie safe in your grandmother's arms, still as a seed, still as a seed, deep down in the belly of the night, dreamed sweet winter dreams, and lie safe in your grandmother's arms, still as a seed, still as a seed.
Thank you, Oriole. Oriole, Lighten of the Trees. Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful, beautiful song. So we rejoice at the solstice for the return of the light. I can't help but notice that my window there's light coming through my window. I love the slanted light of the winter, because the sun never gets all that high in the sky. So we rejoice with the return of the light, and we, engage in the mythology that the great cosmic mother is giving birth to the sun again, because after the solstice, little by little, a few minutes a day, the days will begin to grow longer. And boy, do we need that light right now in these dark times. But the truth is really that the sun is eternal. Now, from the website sciencealert.com, it tells us that the sun is about 4.6 billion years old. Our star in the center of our galaxy is 4.6 billion years old. And that age was gauged on the age of other objects in the solar system that was formed around the same time. And then based on observations of other stars, similar stars, astronomers predict that it will reach the end of its life in about another 10 billion years. 10 billion more years, our sun is going to be shining away in the center of this galaxy. So now everything comes to an end, and that will too, but 10 billion years from now seems like an eternity. So we can pretty much say that the sun is kind of here to stay for a good long while, and it is eternal. And so when we look to the philosophy is as above, so below, and we are made of the same star stuff as the rest of the universe, which is why I always wax philosophical and astrological at these services. So we might also say that our light, the light that we are while we are in this incarnation anyway, is present, eternally present, even when we find ourselves in dark times like these. Not just the winter, which is challenging for a lot of people, and not just the challenge of this holiday season coming up, where we are so restricted and can't do our usual celebrations as we do, but all the challenges of the year that we have experienced and the times in which we live. A lot of us are feeling relief about what we hope is coming in the next year with the change of the administration. But we are not out of the woods yet. These are difficult times, and all that we need to resolve, they're not easy resolutions. We have to really work to get to a good, happy, healthy place. It's not just a difficult time, it is an extremely difficult time. The isolation alone that we have had to do to keep ourselves healthy or to try to maintain our health and the health of our loved ones, the risks that we take by not isolating, it seems as if the risks are everywhere. We're always calculating the risk. What can I do but still stay safe? All the worry and the undercurrent of anxiety. I don't mean to bring these up to dwell, but just to say, oh yeah, my goodness, that has been what we have been walking with and walking through pretty much this entire solar year, or the greater part of it. It's exhausting, isn't it? And it's debilitating over time to still feel these difficult emotions the longer that they go. And the longer that they go on, the harder it is for us to stay positive. So what I would like to do is to take something off all of our collective plates. I want to talk about something that I hope we can just remove from the plate of hardships, or to remove so that whatever those hardships are that we are enduring are easier to endure. And that is this. We tend to think, and our brains will tell us, that we are the only ones that are having trouble. And even when we consciously know, no, everybody's, we're not all in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm. Everybody's, going through this. Still we think, oh, but they're managing it better than I am. That I'm the one who's the problem here. If only I could do this or do that, or find myself in a better place. Or we tend to blame ourselves for experiencing the hardships that we are experiencing. Everyone is challenged. Everyone is challenged right now. And we might think, oh, they have more money, so they're not having as difficult a time as I am. Or, oh, they have a partner and I'm alone, so they might be having a better time than I am. But everyone is challenged, and it's all relative to everyone's situation. I'm challenged, you are challenged. She is challenged, he is challenged, they are challenged, everyone. These are unprecedented times. And we are all experiencing things that most likely we have never experienced before in our lives. So challenges like this, they forge us, they cause us to grow, they help us build resilience. But first, they kick our butts, and they can make us very frustrated and very angry and filled with rage. And if you're anything like me, they can bring lots of tears, like lots of tears. Oceans and oceans of tears. And so what happens is when we say, oh, everybody else is doing a better job of handling these difficulties, but me, I'm having a horrible time. What's wrong with me that I can't just be like, la, 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 I'm fine, or if I do, I'm lying to myself. And the truth of it is I'm not fine. When we keep telling ourselves that there's something wrong with us, it contributes to really poor self-esteem. And if we grapple with poor self-esteem to begin with, which about 99.9% of the people that I know do, including myself, then this just compounds that point of view. We keep telling ourselves the things that are difficult and bad and wrong about ourselves, and it compounds that viewpoint that already exists, and it contributes to our poor self-esteem. So esteem is defined as when we respect something or we admire it. So self-esteem begins with self-respect. Now, if our brains are telling us that we're not doing something well, it's going to be difficult for us to respect ourselves or to admire how we're doing. So you can see there's like this inherent difficulty in there. We don't harm things that we esteem. When we admire and respect something, we don't consciously seek to harm it. We respect it, we cherish it, we protect it, we honor it. But we don't seem to find ourselves in that same category. For some reason, we think it's okay for us to disrespect ourselves, and still somehow we're going to have good self-esteem. The harm that we cause is not only physical harm to ourselves, but emotional harm, psychological harm, and spiritual harm. And all of that causes damage. And then that damage is something that we have to recover from. And this is how this spiral down just continues. And then just when we need it most, right? That's when we drop the best of self-care. This is when we say, oh, it's okay to eat candy for breakfast. There goes the good eating. Or we'll stop exercising. We'll do things to numb ourselves out because we don't like what we're feeling. And we'll stop all of our spiritual practices, our praying or counting our blessings or chanting or whatever it is that you do, because, we're just too exhausted and it's not something that we want to do. We tell ourselves somehow that the challenge matters. We don't matter. The challenge is the thing that's really important here. We don't really matter that much. So it doesn't matter if I have candy for breakfast and I don't do any of the things that are good self-care. So I don't know why it is that we toss our good self-care out when we need it most, but I do think that that is a manifestation of poor self-esteem. We do not value ourselves enough to make the effort to take good care of ourselves when times get hard. And that is when we need to take care of ourselves more than ever. So perhaps we can toss aside the idea that we are not worthy of taking care of, especially during hard times, and redouble our efforts to take care of ourselves so that we can have an easier time of going through those difficulties. Another thing I want to bring up that I think is really, really important here also is that living and life is not a contest and it's not a competition. There is no scarcity of esteem. We can generate as much esteem as we need or want. There is no scarcity there. We can esteem something or someone, and there's plenty. No one is more worthy than anyone else. No one is more valuable than anyone else. It's not a contest. It's about bringing our best selves to the party, not to try to be the best thing at the party, but to bring ourselves fully, the best we can, to the party of life. And if everybody did that, oh my goodness, that would be just the best party that we have ever. All that is required of us is to shine our own light as brightly as we can. And when we start comparing our light to other people's lights, that's when we start to get in trouble. Because there's always going to be somebody ahead of you on the path. There's always going to be somebody behind you on the path. Some lights have been tended longer and they're going to seem to be brighter, or some lights will catch the attention of other people more than your light will. And then you'll start to think, oh, they're better than me. I'm less than them. And all of this is just so unhealthy and also and dysfunctional and also not true. You know, these are kind of the lies we tell ourselves. And we have to raise to a level of consciousness where we go, no, 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 I'm not going to believe that lie any longer. And remembering that life is not a contest and there's no scarcity of esteem here and nobody's more valuable than anyone else is the way that we raise ourselves in that level of consciousness. Healthy self-esteem manifests from looking within to find the light that's in there and then tending it, nurturing it, strengthening it, and building it. The reason we do this is so that we can contribute to the world. So we have this idea also, well, if I turn toward myself and my focus is on tending my own light and building and strengthening my own light, then and that's pretty selfish, isn't it? Like, how self-absorbed can I possibly get? And even that sort of punitive thought is another unhealthy and dysfunctional lie. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It just isn't. Taking care of yourself and then not sharing your goodness, that might be selfish. But caring for yourself is not selfish because it's what you do in order to contribute to the greater good. A few things that come to mind about this self-care and this level of self-care that can derail us. One of them is, well, what if I shine and I really shine that brightly? Everybody's going to think that I'm conceited. So there's a few things about this. One is, we cannot, no matter how much we want to, we cannot control what other people are going to think. That is not even part of our business. If we dumb ourselves down or dim ourselves because we are afraid that people are going to think that we are conceited if we shine as brightly as we can, then we are depriving the world of our light. And the truth is, they can have a judgment about us no matter what. They could think, oh, well, aren't they selfish? They're not shining their light as brightly as they could. I mean, we cannot control the judgments of other people. The only thing that we can do is tend our light and shine it out there. If people have a problem with that, then that truly is their problem. Another thing that can stop us in our tracks from shining so brightly is that we think that we're not going to be able to measure up, that no matter how hard we try, somebody else's light is going to shine more brightly. And that's always going to make us look worse. And again, we can see this is kind of like an ego concept. It's not really about being the best. Or better than someone else. It's about just being the best that we can be. And so this idea that someone else is better than me, and so it's not worth me shining my light. Or we'll look at somebody whose light is really bright and we might find ourselves jealous of them, right? And then it's like goes into that mean and small place. So a mentor that I worked with a while back said to me something once that I just thought was so brilliant. She said, jealousy is an arrow pointing you toward your desire. And that just reframed the whole thing. Instead of all my energy going toward how upset I was that they had what I didn't have, or they could do what I couldn't do, it became, oh my goodness, I'm looking at them, I'm feeling jealous or I'm feeling envy because I want that for myself. And then all of a sudden, I was able to turn it around and say, how did they do that? Who did they study with? How did they practice? What resources did they have? How long did it take them? You know, whatever it is that that person did to get to wherever it is that their light was shining so brightly, so that I could emulate. So instead of looking at it as the thorn in my paw, it became the model for where I want to go. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you see someone whose light is shining so brightly and it makes you feel less than, instead of feeling less than, just recognize, oh, wow, I want to shine like that. It's telling me that's what I want. How does that person do it? And see what you can learn from them. Such a different and healthier way to go about shining your light. Another thing that comes up for a lot of people is if I shine my light as brilliantly as I possibly can, there goes all my privacy. The whole world's going to see and know everything about me, and I'm not going to be able to hide, or I'm not going to feel safe any longer because people are going to recognize my light. And then, there goes all of my privacy. But here's the thing. You get to choose your boundaries. You get to choose how much you reveal about yourself. I mean, there are like superstars in our world, and we don't know everything about them. They can shine their light and their gifts into the world. We don't have to know every little detail of everything that takes place in their personal life. And those stars have really good, healthy boundaries, and they get to choose how much of themselves they give to the world and how much they retain. And we can do the same. We don't have to be a star and feel like the whole world is privy to everything about us. We can be selective about what it is that we share. So we don't have to lose our privacy because we are shining bright and people can recognize our shine. Now, the reason why I'm talking about all of this, like why did we go and how did we go from the solstice to our self-esteem, is because as we step through this threshold into the age of Aquarius, it is about the collective good. And, you know, we look at what's going on out there and we need a lot of collective good. We need a lot of bright lights to justify, to not justify, but to correct the injustices that we're seeing and to course correct the way things are going for the future and for our descendants. So we need all lights on deck, all hands on deck. And as we go into this age of collective goodness of Aquarius, we need our lights strong so that we can contribute. So this is not a selfish thing, it's contributory. And if we remember that we are honing and tending and building our light so that we can contribute to the greater good of all, then everything else just sort of fades away. And we keep that as the focus and the reason. It reminds me of this beautiful story, just this quick little story, when all of the animals in the forest had to run because a wildfire had started, a horrible wildfire, and it took off, and the entire forest just went up in flames, and all the animals ran out, and a bunch of them found themselves by the stream at the edge of the forest where they felt safe for a little while because they were outside, and they stood there just staring as the flames grew higher and taller and bigger and wider and engulfed their homes. And they stood there just feeling helpless because the fire was stronger and bigger than they were. And all of a sudden, they noticed something flitting back and forth, and it was a hummingbird flitting as they do so fast. And this tiny little hummingbird was flying to the stream and picking up a couple of drops of water in its beak and flying back above the fire and dropping the droplets and coming back and forth and back and forth. And the animals were like, what are you doing? It's just like, it's ridiculous. There's no way that those little drops you are putting on the fire are going to stop this entire thing from happening. And then one of the animals finally shouted above the other, what do you think you are doing? And without skipping a beat, the hummingbird, I'm doing what I can. So we don't have to know that our light is going to solve everything. And we don't even have to know any of that. We only have to know that our light is needed, and we ought to be doing everything we can to strengthen it, to bring to these dark times, not just at the solstice, but the times in which we live. It's really important to try, it's an interesting little this way, that way. We have to be aware of what's going on around us, of course, because we have to see what's needed and know where to shine our light and where to bring our gifts. But if we're so focused on the external and what everybody else is going to think about us, if we're so focused on having the external define who we are and how we are in the world, that's when we get in trouble. So don't focus on the external so much from the ego place about what anyone else is going to think. Let them think what they want. Your work, all that is required, is to look within. And this is the perfect time to do that. Winter is the time to look within. So let's do that just now, shall we? So if you would, take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, and go within. And reestablish your connection to your grounding core deep in the earth that we sent down at the beginning of the service. And if you came in after we created sacred space, go ahead and ground yourself to the Earth Mother now. Send down that root, strong and deep, and feel yourself beautifully held by Mother Earth. And breathe deeply. And let's just take a moment in the stillness and the silence to really feel the gift of the season. Keep breathing deeply and bring your attention now up to your third eye in the center of your forehead. Imagine it like an actual eye, just like your other two, and then go ahead and open it up and look out through it into your imagination and find yourself standing on the warm side of the window on the winter solstice, the longest night of the solar year. And it's a clear night, the sky is clear, and there it is, the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, looking like the brightest and largest star you have ever seen. It is awe-inspiring, gorgeous, bright, and sparkling. It looks like a flame up there in the heavens, a glowing light, a cosmic lantern. And there is something about how that light is shining up there that makes you feel like it's all going to be all right. Light shining like that, even on the longest night, it brings hope for the future. So follow that feeling now, the feeling that it's all going to be all right, inside yourself now, and notice that you're feeling it in your solar plexus. Your solar plexus. You are made of star stuff. You are made of the same star stuff the entire universe is made of. And if it can shine like that, you must be able to as well. So keeping your focus inward now, inside your body, look at the place with this feeling that it's all going to be all right, resides at your core, in your heart and in your soul, and find it there. And right there where you find it is your light. your inner star, shining from the depths, the dark depths inside you. It's not just any light, it's your light. And regardless of its size or its shape, it shines. It is shining there, warming you from the inside. Now, this light has a message for you. It wants to tell you the gift that it brings, the gift that you bring to the world because you carry it. So tune in now and listen. Listen as the light within you tells you, informs you, or maybe just reminds you of the gift you are and the gift that you bring to the world. It could be something very simple or even very small, but it doesn't have to be grand to be worthy, as we've already established. Your light is worthy by virtue of its shine. Your gift and the gift that you are to the world is necessary. So we'll take a moment now to listen in and learn what the gift is that your light carries and accept it as truth. Good. Now that you know the gift that you are, the light that you are in the world, that light begins to grow as if your consciousness is feeding it, and it grows brighter and it grows larger. Like when Jupiter and Saturn come together to form that great bright star, and your light fills you now. It fills your entire body from the inside, all the way, your head, down your arms, your hands, your torso, your legs, your feet. And it grows so strong and so bright and so much that now it begins to emanate from you, glowing and shining beyond your body. And it feels so good. It feels right because it's you. So take one more deep breath to fan this flame. And then gently open your eyes and come back here. You are the light. You are the light. And your light needs to shine in this world. It needs to shine now, especially as we enter the age of Aquarius. The collective needs your light. Your soul wants to contribute your light. It wants to contribute what lights you up. And everyone's light is needed.
The song I wrote in 2016 after we lost the election, and it's called Lantern Song, and it's a song of hope. I am a shiny lantern. I shine light from my window. Won't you turn on your lantern, and we can make our light grow? 'Cause darkness can turn into light as we hold hands and shine so bright. Lantern shining on our way, holding hands we sing and pray. Lantern shining on on our way. Holding hands we sing and pray. I am a shiny lantern. I shine light from my window. Won't you turn on your lantern, and we can make our light grow? 'Cause darkness will turn into light as we hold hands and shine so bright. Lantern shining on our way. Holding hands we sing and pray. Lantern shining on our way. Holding hands we sing and pray. I am a shiny lantern. I shine light from my window. Won't you turn on your lantern, and we can make our light grow? 'Cause darkness will turn into light if we hold hands and shine so bright. Lantern shining on our way. Holding hands we sing and pray. Lantern shining on our way. Holding hands we sing and pray.
Thank you, Oriel. What a beautiful song. Oh my goodness. So my friends, to recap, Jupiter and Saturn are creating their own star-like quality in the heavens at the solstice. A good time to set a powerful intention for the age of Aquarius, all about the collective good. The depth of winter is the best time on the wheel of the year to turn inward and in stillness tend to the light that you are. To esteem yourself such that you nurture and strengthen the light that you are so that you can shine it out into the world that needs your light so very much. We can shine our light, all of our lights shining out there together. In fact, everyone's light is needed. Everyone's light is welcome and necessary. So let's be the ones who choose to shine our light out to the world together. Let's think of ourselves as our own, like everyone here in this service, and even later, if you're watching it later. Let's think of ourselves as our own individual celestial beings in conjunction with each other, so that our collective light is amplified in proximity to one another. Yeah, let's. And as the solar year draws to a close, may we allow the stillness to heal us and strengthen us. May we use the depth of the winter to tend to the light that we are, that we may be a blessing to the world. Blessed be. So before we open the floor to our community prayers, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude. You know, at the end of every year, I like to acknowledge and thank all of the people who have been present and have helped keep the Gaia's Temple ministry going. And I want to acknowledge all of you. And that beginning with the board of directors for Gaia's Temple, President and Secretary Reverend Karina Frenzel, Vice President Stina Brown, Treasurer Noemi Shapiro, and Director Extraordinary Tema Gotchberg. I don't know what I'd do without you. Your support, both hands-on and in your big loving hearts, means the world to me. Thank you so much. So as previously mentioned, this has been one challenging year, and that is true for Gaia's Temple as well. Moving our ministry online has been a huge learning curve. And I am grateful, so grateful to Noemi Shapiro for all of her hard work, wrangling all the new technology, and also to Karina Frenzel for helping Noemi wrangle that technology for the Sabbaths earlier this year. And then thank you so much, Mari Budlong, who joined us as our Zoom host this September and is still with us. Thank you so, so very much. I want to thank Kathy Sestrap for her musical support earlier this year, and hopefully when we get back to meeting in person again. And also, as always, to Pamela Gerke, who provides so much musical support for me and has for years and years and years, as well as all the beautiful musicians and singers who have helped so much to keep this beautiful music happening online. The music is such an important part of our service. And today, again, Pamela Gerke and Oriole Lighton, thank you so much for your beautiful music and musical leadership. And the Sacred Fire Choir CD that Pamela conducted and helped, I want to say help produce, maybe she did produce, but she certainly produced all of the songs on there, is available. And Oriole Lighton also has a CD available. And so after the service, you can contact both of them through the chat room, and you can find out how to get their beautiful music that has been recorded. And finally, to each and every one of you here, and to those who don't attend, who haven't attended here, but usually do attend, and to all of you listening to the podcast, wherever you are, all over the world, and to those who tune into the YouTube service after the fact, thank you. Thank you for showing up with me here in the sacred space that we create together. Thank you for your financial donations, your pledges, your contributions in every way. And by doing so, helping to sustain Gaia's Temple for us all. I know we are a very small entity in a very big world, but we are no less important because of that. And perhaps even more important because we are a ministry dedicated to Mother Nature and the reemergence of the divine feminine. And in many ways, we are her voice. All of your help in whatever capacity contributes to the financial, spiritual, and community health of Gaia's Temple, and I am eternally grateful. Thank you so much, and blessed be. So, my friends, this is typically where we pass the basket and ask for your financial contributions to Gaia's Temple. And as I just mentioned, this has been a very difficult year. We are managing to keep going. In fact, we're rather surprised that we are going, as well as we are. And all of that is due to you. And we certainly just need that, your contributions and your donations in an ongoing way so that we can continue. So in a moment, we're going to go to the slide with the words to the song that we usually sing. I'll sing it. You can sing along with me. And this is the time when we ask you to make your financial donation. Now, you can do that by going to the Gaia's Temple website, and right on the homepage there is a PayPal donate button, and you can just push that button. And what we also do as an organization is we tithe 10% of the love offerings that come in today. So if you make your contribution on PayPal today, 10% of that is going to go today to the Freedom Project. We tithe to other organizations that are in alignment with our mission and vision and values. And today we're tithing to the Freedom Project, which transforms prisoners into peacemakers, teaching prisoners how to heal relationships ruptured by violence and how to improve their capacity to serve as family members, workers, and citizens. So know that 10% of what you donate today will go to support the Freedom Project. Thank you in advance for all of your contributions. And now we will sing. So Mari, if you'll put that little slide up. And it goes like this. Excuse me, we'll sing it 3 times through. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your gifts of love today. Thank you, Mother Earth. We are following your way. Yay. So a few announcements before we take our circle down. Next Saturday, December 19th, is the Gaia's Temple Solstice celebration, and we hope you join us. We've been doing our Sabbats online, and of course, it's not the same as when we can gather together in person, but we're doing a pretty ding-dang good job, I think. And one way or another, we are keeping the Sabbats holy together in community. So that's 7 o'clock next Saturday, December 19th. If you go to the event page on the Gaia's Temple website and click on events, there's the calendar. Then you go to the calendar date, you click on there, and there's all the information, including where to make your donation. And then once you do, that alerts us that you are in, and then we can send you the Zoom invite. I realize that we never did the community prayers. So I'm going to finish these announcements and we're going to go back to community prayers. Where was I? Yes. So go to the website, and that's how. So we decided that the intimacy that is created over Zoom is what we want for our Sabbats. So we're not live streaming them to YouTube. There, it only happens in the moment there. So if you want to join us, then you have to let us know, and that's what you do by donating. And then we will make sure we have your email address in there, and then we will email you the Zoom invite so you can attend. Okay, that was the first thing. The second thing is that coming up in January, Reverend Karina Frenzel is going to be teaching a class called Bridget's Flame. That's going to be on Thursday evening, January 28th, and you must register by January 15th. And what we're going to be doing, or what she's going to be leading us in doing, is creating 8 Sabbath candles that we can use during the next turn of the wheel. And so we're going to be mailing you the materials so that you have them to actually make those candles with during the class. So that's why you must register by the 15th of January. So we have a little over a week to make sure that that mailing gets to you. And we have a limit of 20 people in the class. Actually 20 people that we can provide the materials for. So we can actually have more people in the class, I suppose, if more want to, but you might have to get those materials yourself. We can provide up to 20 people with those materials. And so it's filling up. We've had a few registrations already. So if you want in, now's the time to register. And you can also do that on the Gaia's Temple website. Go to January 28th and you can find the link there. All right, now we'll go back to those community prayers. My goodness, I jumped straight over that. And so this is how we do this. I will remind you that we are live streaming to YouTube. So if your prayer is private, you can put it in the chat room, and then we can all read and see what it is that you're praying for and give our silent blessed bees and hold that prayer for you. But if you would like to share a prayer now, then there is a raise your hand feature. Mari, can you jump in and remind us how all this goes?
Yeah, if you open your participants window, down at the bottom of the participants list, there should be a raise hand button.
Okay, good. And so if you have a prayer, go ahead and raise your hand, and Mari will bring you onto the speaker's screen. When you're finished saying your prayer, say blessed be, and that's how we know you're finished, and we'll move on to the next person. So let's pray, shall we?
Let's see, Jennifer K.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am saying prayers of thanks for figuring out how to make this work this year virtually. I so appreciate that. I know you're here, and I've gone in and seen something when I couldn't be here. So thank you, everybody, for doing this and continuing on. You make my bright light shine. Thanks.
Blessed be.
And Karina, you can go next.
I want to send a prayer to my friend Lisa Tario, as well as her husband, Jason Tario, and her son, Nick Tario. A week and a half ago, they just lost, Lisa lost her daughter in a tragic car accident. Her name was Sophie Tario, and I'm sending her some bright lights as she makes this transition to the land of our ancestors, and to her family, Lisa, Jason, and Nick, as they grieve her passing, as well as the Wilderness Awareness School community, as we cope with this tragic loss of a beloved sister, friend, fellow nature lover on this path. Sophie, may you rest in peace, and may your light shine from the other side. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I don't see any other hands raised.
Anyone else have any prayers? All right, well, let's just take like 10 seconds of silence to say our own prayers in our hearts. And anyone who hasn't said their prayer, or if you can think of anything that you would like to put your energy forth into, let's do that now. May all our prayers, spoken and unspoken, be heard and answered. Blessed be. All right, so in closing, I want to leave you with this beautiful piece that my friend Jane Nelson sent me yesterday. It's a piece from Directing the Heart by Rabbi Yael Levy, and it's called Lech Lecha, which is go forth. The words are go forth. Lech Lecha, go. Leave what you know. Leave who you have been. Leave the old habits and ways that have defined and shaped your life. Take your strength, your support, and what inspires your love, and go. The destination is unknown, but as you travel, the path will appear. And the goal of the journey, the reason to leap, to risk, to let go, is to be a blessing, to discover anew the good that you are, and the many ways the divine can come through you into the world. It is difficult to leave, to let go, and begin. And we are called to make this journey again and again. There will be challenges along the way, heartache, pain. We will make mistakes. We will rise, and we will fall, and we will rise again. Messengers will guide us, gifts will appear, and even as fear arises and doubts assail, let us not be deterred, because the way we journey through this life matters, not just for us, but for those who will call us ancestor. The path awaits our willingness. The world awaits our blessings. Let us go. Blessed be. So we'll go back to Tema, and she will sing out the directions for us.
To the spirits of the north, powers of the earth. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. The spirits of west, powers of water. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits of the west, powers of fire. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. The spirits of the east, powers of air. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still. To the spirits of the center, power that connects us all. Go if you must, stay if you will. Within or without, we remain with you still.
Thank you so much, Tema. Thank you, Tema and Maggie, for being our beautiful ritualists today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So we're going to end by singing The Circle is Open. I think we have a slide for that now. We're getting so fancy that has the words on there. So I'll sing and you sing along with me. And then be sure when this is finished to spend a few moments with us at least in fellowship afterwards. So we'll just all unmute ourselves and hang out for a little while and chat as we feel called to do. All right, so here we go. The circle is open and unbroken. May the love of the goddess go in our hearts. Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. Thank you so much, everyone. Blessed solstice. If I don't see you, happy everything. Have a great, safe holiday. And I'll see you, I believe it's January 10th or 11th, second Sunday.